गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे। उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ। सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा।
नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
रेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
हरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं
राजप्रियम् धर्म संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय
समर्थ बनाओ।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर, शुभ संदेश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
सद्गुणों की साधना
प्रियम् धर्म संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
Jai Shri Krishna. On the behalf of Geeta Parivar, I, Arya Indani, welcome all the enthusiasts for this Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 interpretation session. Folding our hands in front of the Almighty, let's start this session with a beautiful prayer. For this, I would like to invite Subba Ramaji from Pune. He is a techno star of level 2 and have been associated to Geeta Parivar since November 2021. Bhaiya.
जय श्री कृष्ण। वसुदेव सुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं, कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। जय श्री कृष्ण।
Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for a beautiful prayer. Light is the symbol of brightness and prosperity, as sunlight expels the darkness and brings happiness in our life. To make this evening a blessed one and invoke Goddess Saraswati with lamp lightning, I would now like to request Vidyaji from Karnataka, who is a co-trainer of level 2 and level 3 and connected to Geeta Parivar in March 2021.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम्। शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you so much, Didi. I feel honored to introduce our today's speaker, Senior Trainer Shraddha ji. She is highly qualified and enthusiastic server of Geeta Parivar, playing an inevitable role as co-trainer in level 4. She is one under whose guidance many trainers have been trained. Shraddha Didi, over to you.
Thank you, Arya Didi. Very beautiful prarthana and very beautiful deep prajwalan. Jai Shri Krishna, everybody. We all are very blessed today. Is my voice coming properly, Arya ji? I wanted to just check once.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So we all are blessed to come together and learn a beautiful chapter. This is a chapter of self-introspection, a very practical chapter. We always have heard that Bhagavad Gita is it is a guide for beautiful living, a peaceful living. And this chapter is one of those practical, it is full of those practical shlokas which will help us learn how to live a very peaceful, a very balanced life. So we'll begin. We'll start with the prarthana. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmani Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathidam Purana Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യായിനീം अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवन् गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. With divine blessings of Shri Krishna, we all are lucky to have Geeta Parivar in our lives. Geeta Parivar has made this entire Geeta learning such a easy journey, a very hassle-free journey, I would say. So I seek blessings of Shri Krishna. I bow down in the feet of Swami Govindgiri Maharaj, owing to whom Geeta Parivar has come into existence. I seek his blessings before starting the Vivechan. And my respectful offerings to all of you, all the audience who have joined us on Zoom and YouTube today. Together, we all will be walking through a very introspective journey of 14th chapter. Now, how is this chapter beginning? The name of this chapter, you all know it is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Right? How is this chapter beginning? With Parambhuyah Pravakshami. So sometimes, so this we all know Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna. We all are aware of it, isn't it? Now, when we are having a conversation with something and there is something important that needs to be told, what will you do? You tend to repeat it. Somebody is going to the market and has a list of things to go and buy. What will you do? Ari, don't forget to get this particular thing. Whatever is more important is always repeated. Here also Shri Krishna is saying Parambhuya. The starting itself is Parambhuya. What could be the intention of saying Parambhuya Pravakshami? Listen carefully. I have told some of these things earlier also, but to grab Arjun's attention, our attention, and to reflect the point that it is a very important thing that what Shri Krishna is going to tell. So similarly here, and what he is telling, jnananam jnanam uttamam, supreme knowledge. How is this knowledge? What is this knowledge? This knowledge is a source of liberation. These shlokas you all have covered in the Purvardha of this chapter, where Shri Krishna has also said, Edam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyam agataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. This importance of the knowledge has been explained in first few shlokas. The people who have that knowledge, they are liberated. They are liberated from worldly pleasures. At the start of we have learned this in previous chapters, how God himself is creating the universe and then he is dissolving the universe. And in this process, those who have this supreme knowledge, they will be undeterred. That is what he has explained in the second shloka. He has also explained how great sages have sought liberation owing to all this. So we all are also blessed. After 5,000 years, we are getting to learn this, isn't it? We are indeed too blessed to get the same principles of liberation. Same principles of liberation we all are also getting. Now, in the previous session, in the 6th, 7th, and 8th shlok, we have seen how the three gunas are binding us. You learned about the creation of the universe, the Prakriti, and how we all are existing in the Prakriti. We all have souls. Soul is what? It is a part of the Parampita Paramatma. It doesn't have any form. We all know this basic soul hai. We all know it, right? And we are tied in this body with what? The three gunas. This is reminding me of one story. Once a man was walking by and he saw some elephants tied with a very small rope. Huge elephants, big elephant. And the normal rope, the elephant is such a powerful creature. With one effort, he can easily break the rope. This man was surprised. How come with such a tiny rope these elephants are tied? He was very curious and he went to the trainer of the elephants and he told, what we do is, when the child is very small, the elephant babies, when they're very small, we tie them with a rope. At that age, the rope is sufficient to hold them, to tie them. But as they are not able to break it at that age, the elephant believes growing that this chain I cannot break, this rope I cannot break. It starts believing from a very small age. And it grows up believing that even after it has become huge, when it is a very powerful, the most powerful creature on the earth, it is still tied with the rope. Now, is the rope actually tying the elephant? No, it is his own mind which is tying the elephant to the rope. So we have to understand, is the rope the binding or is it our mind which is binding us? So here, and we have to untie that rope. We all ourselves see, we are seeking liberation. We are seeking, I don't know, what is our ultimate aim? We want to get united with the God. We want to get united with our Creator. That is our aim. But we already are an ounce of that of the Parampita Paramatma. And we are seeking unison with it. This is so strange. We are that, but we want to become the same thing. So elusive our thinking has been from the beginning. We have started believing this body is us. So how we can get this liberation, that we will be understanding in the shlokas that we are going to discuss today. So let us start with the first shloka for today. Now, before we start, let me have we'll see what we have read in the previous chapter, previous few shlokas. We have learned about three gunas, sattva gun. You all know sattva gun. It seems very pleasant, but in about sattva gun, what we have learned, sattva gun is going to tie you with what? Sukha sangena bandhati, jnana sangena bandhati. How come the sattva guna is also bandhan? Why? Because when a person is a sattva guni, they'll start feeling, I know so much, I am at peace. That attachment to that knowledge, that attachment to the that also develops ahankar. It develops pride in a person, and it acts like a bandhan. It acts like a you're tied with that. So sattva guna is bandhan. Rajogun, we all know rajogun is going to make you run around. Today I have a small mobile, tomorrow I want a better mobile, the one with a better camera, something like that. More and more desires. Tomorrow I want to admission in good college, then get married to a good guy, have good children. Unending list of desires is there, and rajoguni people will also keep running. Similarly, tamoguni is also going out of ignorance. It will keep you in that ignorance bliss. There's so much sukh in sleeping for 10 hours, 15 hours. What is this getting up at 5 o'clock? It is a bliss in itself. Tamo guna also. So in their own form, these gunas are going to keep you binding. But how is our soul? How is our Atma? Our soul is urdhvagami. What is the meaning of urdhvagami? It is not like the direction. When I'm saying urdhva means up, it is a relative thing. It is not physical direction of up. Urdhvagami, it is seeking a very top position. It has to go upwards, but it has started believing, because of these three gunas, it has started believing that it is tied up. It is tied up to the body, and we have started identifying ourselves to our body. This is what we have learned in the 6th, 7th, and 8th shloka. And then we come to the 9th shloka, from where Shri Krishna has explained something very important. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati srajah karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamah pramade sanjayatyutam. How is sattvagun? Sattvam sukhe sanjayati. How is sattvagun tying you? It is binding one to happiness. A person remains happy. A sattvaguni person remains happy in every circumstance. No matter what, he'll understand. He'll think positively about everything, and he will always be tied to what? Happiness. A sattvaguni person is always content. Why he is happy? Because he is content. He doesn't want anything. Jo bhi hai life mein, he will be happy with it. He doesn't have those desires which will make him unhappy. So that is why it is tying to happiness. Now what happens? Happiness is also, too much of happiness is also going to be like a binding. And then we come to the rajogun. What Shri Krishna tells about rajogun? Rajak karmani bharata. Rajoguni people are tied with what? They are tied with karmani bharata. So a person, this sattvaguni we saw is happy in everything, and rajoguni is bound by karma. He needs continuous back to back something they need. Ek kaam khatam hua, dusra chahiye, dusra kaam khatam hua, teesra chahiye. They'll continuously something they will need. And tamogun, what is tamogun? This is a very beautiful line they've said about tamogun. Jnana mavritya tu tamav. What is tamogun doing? It is putting a blanket on your intellect. Avriti means ढक लिया है. What it has hidden? It has hidden your intellect. It has hidden your jnanam avritya tu tamav pramade sanjayatyuta. The cloud of delusion. Now we all are always in these three gunas. Even when we are sitting for this Vivechan Satra, we all are under the influence of these gunas. So you saw a message on WhatsApp. Some Vivechan is starting. The Sattva guna, within you will say, Sattva, the Vivechan is starting. I have to learn. Whatever I've learned, I want to memorize these shlokas. For memorization of these shlokas, it is important that I understand the meaning. Let me attend the Vivechan Satra. When the Sattva guna is at peak, so everybody decided they will attend the Vivechan Satra. Then they started listening to this Vivechan Satra, and sunte thoda sa rajogun will also come up. They'll feel, while listening, I can do something else also. No? Little, thoda sabji kaat lo, thoda khana paka lo. Vivechan what? We can switch off the video and we can listen the Vivechan, right? Nicely, we can know. Simultaneously, we'll do. So Rajogun will, simultaneously, back to back, kuch na kuch saath mein karna hai, not focusing only on one thing at a time. But we have to do continuous, that activity we have to continue. And then sometimes what happens after 45 minutes, oh God, it is still continuing. 21 shlokas they have to explain. They'll continue for so long. How can I sit? It's already almost 9 o'clock dinner time. This will be available on the YouTube. No, the Tamo Gun, it will take over. And what we'll do? Chalo, baki ka baad mein sunenge. And then whenever that baad mein will come, it will happen. This is just an example, okay? So how continuously, within an hour also, these three gunas are continuously, working on us. There and in their own way, owing to their own nature, they will continuously keep influencing our thought process. Here, coming to the third charan, jnanamavritya tamah pramade sanchayatyuta. Here we are talking with sattva gun. We know, very happy. They will keep you in every circumstance. Rajoguni, it will make you do continuous actions. Tamogun, it will put a blanket on the understanding. And what will happen when that happens? When your mind is covered with the tamogun, it is under the influence of tamogun. It cannot distinguish between what is real, what is unreal, what is right, what is wrong. And pramade sanjayatyuta. Pramade, what is the meaning of pramad? It is, pramad is engaging in idle pursuits, sitting idle. There is this new disease I call a boredom disease. Every time people are getting bored. What is happening? Getting bored. So what will they do to kill the boredom? Netflix, YouTube, now YouTube Shorts, Facebook, new things. They will engage themselves in what? In idle pursuits. So that happens when we are under the influence of tamogun. We don't know what is the right way to utilize our time. It's not that we don't know, but we are under the influence of tamogun. No? In that way, we end up spending our time in something which is not an ideal way to spend this time. So we are not able to discharge our duties appropriately. And all three gunas are addictive. Kuch acha bhi karna hai, that is also they are addictive. Rajogun, we know, addictive, and tamogun, highly addictive. All the three gunas are addictive, and because they all are addictive, they all are a binding. Now, here one important thing that we have to see is, what are the words used for the tamogun, sattvagun, and rajogun? Sattvam sukhi, when you are in the previous few shlokas, we have seen the word sangena badnati is used for sattvagun and rajogun. Sukha sangena badnati, karma sangena badnati. But for the tamogun, what is the word sanga is not used. Why? Because tamogun itself is going to bind the man by its very nature. We have seen sukha sangena badnati, sattvagun. Then karma sangena badnati. And for tamogun, you will see the word sanga is not used for tamogun because it binds. It is the nature of tamogun to keep yourself mind, and it is a very delusive gun, and that is why it is going to be it is going to take you towards more and more ignorance. Now, all the three guns are binding, right? So whether it is a good bind, it is mildly binding, happiness se bind karta hai, jnaan se bind karta hai, no matter what it is, binding is a binding. With beyond a certain limit, it has to be controlled. So if somebody is binding me, tying me with a golden chain, or tying me with the chain of thorns, or tying me with any steel chain is a chain. Binding is a binding. After explaining all this, Sri Krishna is telling how continuously these three gunas are working. Rajas tamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. Rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamas sattvam rajastatha. We briefly discussed this in the previous shloka also, how these three gunas are binding us. When the rajo guna is high, when the sattva guna is high, rajas tamas cha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. So suppressing what? The rajo guna and tamo guna, the sattva guna will come up. At one point of time, all points of time, all three gunas are there, but one guna will be little more prominent. Right? Similarly, Rajo Gun will be prominent, it will suppress the Sattva Gun and Tamo Gun. And when the Tamo Gun is popping up, it will suppress the other two Gun. There is a constant tussle going on with us. I told you how within 1 hour of this Vivechan Satra also we will experience this. How our gunas are going to, from morning to evening also, you see how that continuous tussle within us is going on or not. You all believe that it continuously there is going to be a tussle. And in the second verse, Shri Krishna has explained that one who has renounced the connection with the nature, only that kind of person will be able. See what is happening here. What we have seen till now, we have seen firstly the importance of this, then how we all are binded to the deha, to the body because of these gunas. And now we are trying to understand the nature of these gunas. What we have to do? We have to free ourselves, right? We have to know what we are tied with, then only we can free ourselves. So from verse number 6 till 8, we have understood how are these gunas, and here Shri Krishna is telling how these gunas are suppressing each other, how one guna is active at a time. Even in the class, you all are attending Bhagavad Gita classes, right? Sometimes you'll feel with full energy, aaj mera turn aane wala hai, today I'm going to get a recitation turn. Everybody with full video on, full concentration, you all will say, everybody will be sitting. And then somebody else is chanting. I can switch off the videos while doing everything simultaneously. We all can do that. Even in that 1 hour of the session, these three gunas, you will see how it is influencing you. And now once we know this, the question arises what to do before they are binding a person. Okay, what is it that it is binding us? And now I told you the influence is always there. Ek gun prominent hai, the other two gunas are. How do I understand this? Now it should be a naturally occurring question to you all. Now that we are telling that Sattva guna is popping up, the other two gunas are down, the other two gunas. When we are saying this, how exactly do I understand? What is the mark? What is the symptom? We are in the Corona times. We understand the word symptom more than anything else, right? So what are the symptoms of that the Sattva guna is increasing? What is it? How will I understand that the Rajo guna is increasing? What are the symptoms of each guna? That is explained in the next shloka. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayati jnanam yada tada vidyad vivrittham sattvamityuta. In this shloka, we'll see what are the symptoms or the characteristics of the person in whom the sattva guna is increasing. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate. What is the significance of the word prakash here? Prakash is it is symbolic of knowledge. Now you see here, prakasha upajayate, all senses are illuminated with light of knowledge. What is the meaning of all senses? Now we all know our body has 9 dwars, all that we learn in further shlokas as you proceed in L2, L3. So it is all senses are illuminated with the light of knowledge. Means what? Everything, what you are smelling, what you are reading, what you are eating, what you are listening, all these things will have a sattvic touch. You'll feel like listening to Vivechans. You'll feel like listening to good pravachans. Swamiji, so many beautiful pravachans come on YouTube. You'll feel like listening when sattva guna is high. Now, at the same time, when Rajo guna is high, then you'll feel like listening more to news, something that is more useful, from which you can earn more money and things like that. Okay. And entertainment little bit. Tamoguni, what you will listen, I don't even want to think about it. That I'm leaving it as homework. But similarly, and it is applying to all senses, what you want to see, what you want to read. A Sattva-guni person will end up reading something which is more, which is going to elevate your knowledge, which is going to take you to higher levels of knowledge. Rajoguni people, ठीक है वो सब भी पढ़ना चाहिए, न्यूज पढ़ लो, मैगजीन्स पढ़ लो, तमोगुणी also, depending, all senses will have that light. When you are feeling, what is that desires also. Now next mode of passion, what are the desires that you have, what is happening, what is overpowering, which guna is overpowering. Based on that, this is going to happen to you. But when it is sattva gun, in this particular shloka, we are only going to talk about sattva gun. So there is a light of knowledge across all senses. And what happens when your mind is clean, all senses and mind, everything is cleansed, a person can distinguish between what is right, what is wrong. It is 7:30. Should I go and watch some TV series, or should I go sit? It is deep sadhya time. What that judgment we will be able to have. When that judgment you are having, you have to congratulate yourself that sattva guna is prevalent, is more overpowering. Then lobha pravrittirarambha karmanamashamaspраha rajasyetani jayante vivriddhe bharatarshava. What happens when rajoguna is increasing? Lobha, greed, more. I want more. What I have. My neighbor has bought a very nice car. I also want to buy a car. कार तो रोज रोज लोग क्या खरीदते नहीं है. Saris, marriage season is going on. For this function, that sari, she has a better sari. I also want a better sari. More dresses. So much we engage ourselves in shopping for somebody else's weddings. How much lobh, greed, you have enough in your wardrobe, but there is lobh, there is greed for more wealth, for more possessions, something that we already have, a better job. There is a continuous running around. Lobha, that is the first thing. Then pravritti. What is the meaning of pravritti? It is the desire for action. So now you'll say, why? What is wrong in having a desire for action? Without that, nothing can happen. We all are, most of you, I am seeing here, many of you have already volunteers in Geeta Parivar. Until and unless you have a desire for work, unless and until you have a passion for work, how are you even going to attain anything? How are you going to achieve anything? But that mode of passion, that desire, it should be how? It should be free from any attachment. It should be free from a desire for fruit. That desire, that should be that is what is more damaging. Now, when I say desire means what? Desire means something that we want for ourselves. In your 12th chapter, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, we have heard. Okay, means something that we are doing with the intention of good for the society. That itself is a good desire here. But when we have the selfish desires, that at that time the entire rajogun influence is not desired. It is not desirable. It is not justified. That is pravritti. Then what is the next thing Shri Krishna is telling? Rajasya karmana mashamaspra. Karmana. What is happening in this entire rat race? There's this word rat race that people use, continuously running behind with different objects. In that, what is happening? A person is not understanding what is our own existence. What is the meaning of our existence? We are forgetting everything. Right at the old age, we are understanding. Then that is the time we start thinking, what was the purpose? I've done so much for my children, everything running around, but that happiness is still missing. Ashamaha. What is the meaning of ashamaha? Ashama is karmanam ashanti. Ashanti. Okay, there is no peace after all that running around. You see, this is happening with so many people nowadays. We have many people who are working in the different industries, and at the end there is this: I am not getting the work satisfaction. You say you're doing something for your happiness. We are getting such high nowadays. The salary that we get, that people are getting at a very young age, unmatched salary. Even after all that, there is no peace. Why? Because we are continuously running, because that there is no end to the desires. In the older days, one government job, everything people will do 10 to 5 job. After 5 o'clock they want to come home, 5, 6, 7, spend time with the kids, spend time with the family and sleep. That very minimal desires, minimalistic living was there. Gradually all that is changing, and with that has come the entire concept of not having satisfaction, not being not being at peace. And after this, arambha karmanam. So what has also happened is continuously people are doing, they are competing with each other. Competing to what extent? Getting name, fame. And fame in what? Doing charity, posting on WhatsApp, that kind of fame. Everybody has to do things to show. Everything is starting. It is a good thing, but it is only for showing. Ashama, there is so much unrest, so much dissatisfaction in the mind. And spriha, the desire for, what is the meaning of spriha? Desire for the bare necessities of the life. Being aware of the bare necessities of the life, but running behind it to, there is no end to how much you want. How is we get bare in minimum food? We all, for food, we all have survival ke liye, whatever food we need, we all are getting. What people want? Fancier food, going to the restaurants, there is no end to what type of food. Today we are eating normal Indian food, then tomorrow we want Chinese, people want Italian. This is where the Rajogun is increased. So many more desires will keep coming. And what is the problem here? When all these things these things are happening, it is obstructing what? Your detachment. Now, because today we decide, we whatever we have is enough. All of a sudden that desire comes. No, one more sari is okay. One outing, once we will eat in that restaurant, then I will never go. So what is happening? You're still attached to the worldly pleasures. It is obstructing your detachment, and that is the problem which happens with the Rajogun. So, and as the Rajogun is increased, what happens? The symptoms of the Sattva Gun are subdued. And then what happens with Tamogun? Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivriddhe guru nandana. Aprakash. What is happening with Tamogun? When the see, for the Sattva Gun, what was the word that was used? Sarva dvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate. So there was light in all the senses. Prakasha upajayate. And then in the for the Tamogun, what Shri Krishna is saying, aprakash and apravritti, means aprakash is what? The mind and the senses are not pure. What you are seeing, what we are watching, there is no proper judgment of anything. I've seen, how Tamoguni people would be. No matter what, there is no inclination. They're always bored. What we'll watch, YouTube we'll watch. No matter how much time is going. Watching Netflix, what kind of movies, what kind of violent series you're watching, there is no judgment. Aprakash and apravritti. Now, when we are saying aprakash, there is a lack of discrimination, lack of discrimination of what is right and what is wrong. and apravritti. There is no inclination to discharge even your basic obligatory duties. What is the meaning of basic obligatory duties? A tamoguni person will think, this is not my duty, will keep procrastinating. People now, they will not want to do the basic things that they should be doing. Sleeping. Nowadays, there are some households where we will see, oh, get up at 8 o'clock, nashta kar rahe, nahi kar rahe. How, what are the kids eating? What is the need to cook? Why? What is the need to, work so much in the kitchen? Swiggy, Zomato, everything is there. Enjoy all these worldly pleasures to an extent that it will be harmful for everybody. So much that discrimination of what is right and what is wrong is also going to go. That is aprakash, apravritti, pramada. Pramada, I already told you. Engaging in things which are not very ideal and ideal. And moha evacha. Moha, that is greed. Now, when we are saying pramada moha evacha, it is beyond, just basic desires. Pramada means not just ideal, this thing, doing whatever that comes to my mind. Mere man mein jo aayega, main karunga. Whether it is justified, not justified, they have different means to justify what they want to do. So pramada meaning, when you are elaborating, it is also meaning doing whatever that comes to your mind, and there is no inclination to discharge any duties. Now, why are we learning all these things? We have to be understanding that whenever such things happen to us, we have to be watchful. Is tamas gun slipping into us? Why? From so much we are learning here, Sri Krishna has explained from I think 6th verse we have started. Now we are on the 13th verse. Here everything Sri Krishna is explaining. For what? For us to understand which under the influence of which gun you are, and why do we need to understand? What is the use of understanding this? Only we should understand when we know what is the fruit, what is the destiny that awaits us. If I know that after becoming an engineer, I'm going to get a good job, then only I'll go and study engineering, isn't it? Otherwise, why so much effort, 4 years of study? And people would see there are different desires, but it's a basic thing. Until and unless we don't know what is the result, what is the impact of what we are doing, we will not take anything seriously. We have to understand the end result of being under the influence of which gun. That is explained in the next few verses. So in the next 2 verses, Sri Krishna is pointing out what awaits for us, for a person who is, now see, whatever is explained in next 4 shlokas is the result, or what is our destiny under the influence of which. The first 2 shlokas that we are going to see here, the 14th and 15th shloka, talk about the long-term impact. For us, what we are seeing, we are used to seeing only this particular birth. हम लोगों का ये जन्म ही हमको पता है. So what we are saying, अरे today there is this attitude of people, खाएंगे पिएंगे ऐश करेंगे आराम से जिएंगे. Now that we've got this life, we'll आराम ऐशो आराम करके जिएंगे. That is a very short-term view of life. This is not what life is all about. We as human beings are, in front, all of you are having good lives. Around us, there are people who are much more, in a not a very good quality of life they all have. We are having a better life owing to our past karmas, because something kuch acha kiya hai pichhle janam. We've done something right in our old past birth. That is why we are sitting here and learning Bhagavad Gita. And we have such good people to guide us. Ashubhaya hai, Swamiji, everybody is there. Why we are being associated with such people? Because of the past karmas. This is what is explained in the next few shlokas for us. Yada sattve pravriddhetu pralayam yati deha bhrit tadottama vidam lokan amalan pratipatyate. Now, a person who is naturally established in a person is always naturally established in Sattva Gun, Rajogun, and Tamagun. All of us continuously we are in one of these three guns. Whether somebody is doing some teachers, they at some point of time, every job also, every job, some people will do for genuine service to the society. Some people will do it for the name and fame. Some people will do ki are inko main kuch galat sikha दूं. Huh? This is also going on. There are some deliberate efforts happening to, demotivate and, distract our youth. There are some people who are deliberately teaching wrong things to our youth. That is tamoguni, under the influence of tamoguni. The action in itself, teaching, is such a pious action. But depending on what is the intention behind that action, the act itself is going to become a sattva-guni, rajoguni, or tamoguni thing. And always each one of us is under the influence of these three gunas. Now, we don't know when will the death come. Nobody can predict. The day we are born, the day we come into this world, that day itself, when are we going to depart, is fixed. It's just that we are not aware of it. है ना? सबको पता है आए हैं तो जाएंगे, and the date is already prefixed. But we don't know when that will happen. Now what happens? These gunas are doing their job, they are high, low at some point of time. And all of a sudden, death comes. At that point of time, which guna was at its peak will determine where you are going to get the next birth. Okay, so if yada sattve pravritti, when the sattva guna is high, and at that time, luckily, a person leaves the physical body. See what I'm saying? Leaves the physical body. We never die. The Atma never dies. It is going to be there. It is only changing its form from one body to another, another to another, right? So at that point, now I'm sitting here in this body, and when under the influence of Sattva Gun, if my soul leaves the body, where will I get birth? Tadotama vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. Pratipadyate means attain, goes there. Which kind of? The higher, the better worlds. The uttam vidam lokam. That will be the pure worlds. Swarg hai, whatever. What is the world meant for? People who do noble deeds. A life which is noble. Where you go now essentially determines by the desire you have in mind. Okay, so suppose had this been a physical session where we all would have met in some hall sitting together. After the satra, what you would have done? Gone home. Anybody hungry? Going to the hotel. Aise karke. What desire you have in mind, according to that place you will go, isn't it? Now somebody, early morning, not in a mood to cook, want to go to the hotel. You will end up in the hotel. What is your desire? That is where you are going to go. So same thing applies for the death also. What desire you have in mind, what thought you have in mind, there only you will end up going. Okay. And similarly, so what is happening if your Sattva Guna is predominant? You are going to get to a better world where, and so the mind is enlightened. When your mind is enlightened, you will be directed to higher world where there are people who can, जो आपके आत्मा का further उद्धार कर सकते, they will help you further, that kind of place. And noble and divine thoughts, they are within you, you will go to a good place. So somebody who has decided to go to a movie theater, who's craving for watching movie. Lockdown, 2 years it's been since the lockdowns, not watched a single movie. I want to go to a movie. Where will I land up? Will we land up in any Vivechan Satra? We'll skip every class, and where we'll go? We'll end up in the movie theaters. So, Rajasi pralayang gatva karma sangishu jayate tatha pralinastamasi mudhayonishu jayate. What is going to happen? Rajasi pralayang, under the influence of Rajogun, which kind of, when a person is leaving the body and he is under the influence of a Rajogun, what will happen? They will attain worlds which are driven by karma, which are driven by desires and action, like what we have today. Everybody has desires, whatever it is: earn money, have a beautiful family, earn, so many worldly pleasures. There's no limit to any worldly pleasures nowadays. आजकल तो कैसे so many digital instruments, so many things are happening. We are living in a very, very comfortable world. In that kind of world, so if you are thinking about all that, you will end up coming in this kind of world, which is driven by desire, driven by action. And at that time, what you experience there. Now see, there are two different things. You will say, what is the use if at the time of death only it is going to be desired, it is going to be determined where I'm going to land up. Entire lifetime, why I need to be sattva guni? Entire lifetime, why to do puja part? End mein karenge na. In the end, we will do whatever is good. Oh, if while dying only, are we going to have that somebody who has ran behind the job, who has been continuously thinking how much money I can earn, I want to earn more money, that kind of a person will not know when has attained lot of wealth, and if they realize that now we are going, the money has to be left behind us. What will be the thought in mind? Arey, mere paise ka kya ho gaya? Will it be with my children? Will any war? Oh my God, I don't want to give it to this child. He has served me less and he is up me gone. And then again take birth as a vyapari, earn more money, do the same thing and be entangled in the same life. So we don't know when that last point is going to come. So we have to be very watchful. Tatha pralinas tamasi mudhayon shrujayate. The soul leaves the body when the mind is under the influence of rajogun. It will, I've already told, it will land up in the world driven by what? Action. And these are slightly lower states of living, because when something is driven by action, driven by desires, it will automatically come with some unhappiness. So that is how it is going to be. So here I am reminded of a small story also of Jada Bharat. Many of you might have heard about it. Some of us, those who might not be knowing, I'll tell you in brief. So he was a seeker of knowledge. He decided to do tapa in jungle and attain that ultimate moksha and the ultimate liberation. A very knowledgeable person, full his entire life, he has done a lot of good deeds. A very ideal patra for liberation. Now, when he was staying in the jungles, he saw a pregnant deer was going by, and she was trying to cross the river. While crossing this river, she delivered the small baby deer, and unfortunately the mother died. And Jad Bharat, he took care of the baby deer like his own child. He was very, very cute, and animals instinctively will end up loving them. It is so cute. So this Bharat also, he took care of that deer as his own child. And always, isne khaya kya, piya kya? No, it is a deer. It will live its own life. And then after a certain age, the animals are not like human children, no, clinging throughout the life. They will go. So as the deer grew, he started, moving around in the jungle. Now this Jada Bharat was always worried. What if a lion comes, and it's always worried. If the deer is not seen around, he will be worried. Is he being attacked by a lion? Always worried. Now his pralaya time came. A time to leave his body. All the past deeds that he did, they were to go, but at that moment, he was thinking about this deer, this baby deer. What will happen? Who will take care of this deer? And with that thought, he left the body. Now, what happened? He was born as a deer, because while leaving the body, he had that thought of deer in his mind. But at the same time, whatever his past karma was, that state, the karma also will come with you. So you'll get birth according to the last thought that you have in your mind. But the bhog or the experiences that you have in your life will depend on the karma. Okay. So accordingly, that person, though he was born as a deer, owing to all the good karmas, he remembered whatever he has learned in the past life, all the shastras, everything he remembered. This deer was also so, sattvic. He will eat only the dried leaves, not the green leaves. That kind of life he lived as a deer. And then later, again, he was born as a human being. Now that was also very interesting. He remembered what he has learned in all the past lives. So he ensured that he remembers till the moment of death. After completing his life cycle as a deer, he uh, was born again in a Brahmin family. There he was. He remembered, मुझे attachment ही नहीं चाहिए. He doesn't want to be attached to anything. So what he did, he used to be quiet. He will not talk at all from childhood till end. He never spoke. Not so. Obviously, people thought he's probably very foolish, but he will not retort. You will learn in the further shlokas how under the influence of apman, man, everything, we should be sama. Like that, he was, whatever anybody is saying, he will not let it affect him. Nothing affected this man at that age, in that life, and he stayed like that. Now, one day his brothers, their wife, both the father died. They all shared the property and all. He didn't get any property. He was okay with all that. One day he was asked to leave the house. He left the house. He was sitting under a tree. At that time, there was a palanquin that was coming. Palanquin carrying a person who wanted to visit Kapil Muni. He wanted to seek knowledge. Now, amongst those palanquin bearers, one of them got very tired, couldn't walk. So the other people requested this fellow, get up and help this rich man to reach the Muni. He didn't, he will never open his mouth. Quietly, he helped, picked up the palanquin and started walking. Now he was always in his own thoughts, in his own chintan. He started walking. Now, the palanquin was there was little imbalance in this. And while he was walking, this man from the palanquin shouted, "You foolish fellow, how are you walking? If you are tired, just rest for some time." The moment he uttered that, he kept the palanquin down, and for the first time, he opened his mouth in the entire lifetime to tell that this is not how we should talk. You are not insulting me. I am the Deha. Here, insult to the Deha was not important. What was important is that he is going to Kapil Muni. The thought that he had in his mind is, this person is going to seek knowledge. When you are seeking knowledge, the attitude should be correct. And Sarvabhuta Hitera Rataha, for the benefit of that person, that he should be eligible to get that knowledge. For the first time, he spoke about Atma and explained. This merchant was very impressed, and he bowed down to this Jad Bharat and continued with the journey. And then after that, Bharat also was liberated. So this is a small story about how your birth. It is we say, "Are kaisa janam mil gaya?" It is a matter of choice. It is a matter of choice that we have. If we are leaving the soul, angry, in an angry mode, to people fighting, shouting at each other, "I'll break your head, I'll break your head," and in that process of our head gets broken, and you go out of this body with that mode, in the new birth, are you going to have that loving feeling? No, that feeling will stay, and depending on the karma, the body will be, whatever you get, bhog jo rahenge, that will be according to your karmas. And then after this, in the second part, he's also telling about the pralinas tamasi. Tamasi tatha pralinas tamasi mudhayona shrujayate. Mudhayoni is the lower state of creatures, insects, and the beings who do not have the capacity to comprehend anything. Those who cannot, they cannot understand anything. So a person of, a man is thinking about a dog and dying, but his karmas are good. He's getting birth as a dog. He'll get birth as a dog in a very good, probably family where he's getting all food, everything properly. A dog dying as a human being, but his karmas, past karmas are not good. Even after getting a birth as a human being, he might not have a very blissful life. What experiences he will have are going to be different. So we have, what you have to understand in all this is how watchful we have to be with our thoughts. Nowadays, jo man mein aaya bol diya, mujhe laga maine bol diya. That is the thought we all have. People, when they talk, they'll talk like that. That is not right. We have to be very watchful. And then the predominance of these three modes at a time, why is it that the predominance of the modes at 3 times yielding different results? Because for that we have to understand what are the fruits, the short-term fruits of the each gun. Karmana sukritasyahu satvikan nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasah phalam. Karmana sukritasyahu. What is the fruit of a good action? It is the attitude of devotion. It is the you having an attitude of prayerful, doing prayers, a very sattvic attitude, a very pleasant attitude. It is a continuously evolving process. A person in the sattvic gun, sattva gun, will be in that attitude. Then what is the result of the rajas gun? Rajasastu phalan dukkham. Why dukkham? Now here you'll feel rajogun. We are fulfilling our desires. Where is the dukkha in this? The sukh is very temporary. There is great sense of satisfaction. There is great sense of fulfillment in the rajogun. But in the long run, this very success can become the cause of sorrow. Kamesha krodesho rajaguna samudbhavaha. This also Shri Krishna is saying, said, whatever desires, whatever anger, everything that will occur out of these temporary happiness is going to be the cause for the ultimate sorrow. And for example, somebody has earned lot of money throughout the lifetime, earned lot of money, and then in the old age, if he sees his own sons fighting for this money, ultimately what it has happened, it has landed up with sorrow. Rajasastu phalan dukkhan ajnanan tamasah phalan. Ajnan, the ultimate fruit of ignorance is what? Ajnan. It is full of delusion. It is ignorance. Tamogun, as we've already seen. Now, one interesting thing about tamogun, we have in the previous shlokas, he said the tamogun is also originating from ignorance. And what is happening? Its fruit is also ignorance. So what you are getting by under the influence of tamogun is again ignorance in return. So it is originating from ignorance, and you are getting ignorance back. It is like a tree. Now a seed and the tree, whatever seed you are sowing, the same tree is coming and the same seed. So it is a circle. From the seed you will get the tree, and from the tree you will get the seed. Similarly, from ignorance, tamogun is coming, and from tamogun again you are going to stay in ignorance for the entire lifetime. And now that we know the fruits of all the gunas, we are going to be seeing what activates each gun. We have seen ek gun is high, another gun is low. What is activating these gunas? Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada mohau tamaso bhavato jnanamevacha. Now, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Sattva guna awakens what? It will awaken knowledge. When you are seeing that your desire for knowledge is increasing in you, you have to understand your sattva guna is increasing. It gives person a sense of discrimination between good and bad. When I'm watching, I'll be able to determine, is this worth watching, or is this particular video worth watching? That sense of right and wrong you will get when your sattva guna is increasing. And the sense or knowledge, it enables person to do only good actions. And what will accumulate? Your good actions will accumulate, good karmas will keep evolving. And what will be the fruit? It is going to be pure. And what will happen with Rajaso? Rajogun, we all know. Rajaso, Lobha Evacha. No matter how many desires are fulfilled, more and more desires will keep coming. Desires are endless. Until and unless you have the wisdom of knowing this is enough, the desire is going to be a very endless vicious circle. And it is a process. See, what is the greed? It is a multiplying process. It is multiplying possessions. I'm earning say 5,000 rupees a month. No, we want more, 10,000. That salary has to increase. Why the salary has to increase? Because the desires have increased. Now we don't want to go on the two-wheelers. Everybody wants to have a car, no matter how much traffic jam we have to face, but everybody will go in an individual car. That is how our desires are endless. The greed is endless, and we'll be stuck with Lobha due to what? Rajaso lobha evacha. Pramada mohau tamaso. Pramada moha. Delusion. Now all this is going to arise from the tamogun. Now in this verse we know that ignorance is coming from the tamogun. We have to consciously watch. Are we trying to do things? Are we trying to escape from our duties? That introspection we have to do. Bhavato jnanamevacha. Now here in your Geeta classes, you all must be told, your teachers must be teaching. That is an avagra. Drag it. Bhavato jnanamevacha. Why that avagra is coming? Because bhavati ajnana. If you miss that avagra, what will happen? Bhavato jnanamevacha. The meaning becomes entirely opposite. That is the importance of saying it with correct pronunciation. Okay, we have to realize this. Every word that you are saying, bhavato jnanamevacha, you eat the avagra, make the rasa bhavato jnanamevacha, you are completely making the meaning opposite. So everything that you are being taught in the pronunciation classes also, it is very important that you don't miss these small instructions. And then there we are being told that tamogun is giving ignorance. And then what is the further the explaining the fruits, explaining the consequences of these three gunas further. Shri Krishna is told urdhvang gachanti sattvastha. Urdhvang gachanti sattvastha madhye tishthanti rajasaha jaghanya guna vrittistha adho gachanti tamasaha. Urdhvam means going up. When I'm saying up, it is not a direction, it is going to a higher abode, higher places. Now it doesn't mean only in the next birth. Even now, if you are sattva guni, you will see yourself becoming more peaceful, getting more knowledgeable. That is also urdhvam gachanti. Okay. What happens with sattvic people? They will not have any egocentric desires. Their desires will take them where? They will take them higher up in the evolution. How to take birth in the pious worlds, for before that what correct to do in this world. And then if you are in that particular evolution, in that state of evolution, not only this birth, janmo ka uddhar ho jata hai. When you are learning Bhagavad Gita, take this small example of learning Bhagavad Gita. You are going to learn so many beautiful chapters in this entire process. You'll understand the importance of various actions, tap, jnana, tapo, tap, dan, all these things. When you will understand, you'll be able to introspect yourself so nicely. What is going to happen? You are going to get in that continuous process of evolution of what? Sattva. Sattvic evolution will happen in you. And what happens with Rajogun? Madhye tishthanti rajasa. What is the meaning of this madhye tishthanti? The people have among these people, there is a predominance of what? Passion and attachment. Attachment to what things we will have? Small things. Things that are going to go tomorrow, the kaach ka glass, cups also. So much attachment to that beautiful design cup. the ladies will have is this should not break, giving it to the maid. Ye toota na to dekhna. In that we are not even watchful where our language is going. Agar ye toota na, month ka pagar kaat lungi. Oh my God, that extreme attachment with that 120-30 rupees cup. So much. We know at some point of time in our lives that cup is going to break, right? But how strong the attachment, and because of this attachment, what will happen? We are stuck in that vicious circle. Again, wahi rahenge. Tishtanti. What is the word used? Tishtanti means steady. There only, where madhye. Like we all. Why are we stuck in this birth, sitting here and learning all this? Because we all are stuck. मध्य तिष्ठन्ति, हम लोग सबका यही पोजीशन है. मध्य तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्य गुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. What is going to happen to the tamoguni people? They are landing up in the lowest levels of hierarchy in these creatures. Yonis, maybe there are, if you see, there are different types of yonis, broadly classified into 4 yonis. There is a yoni where बहुत कीड़े मकोड़े, there is no karma you can do. You cannot improve your karmas in those yonis. They cannot comprehend anything, just live, and we are only going to experience whatever is the fruit of our past karma. That kind of lower states of living people will get. What are those yonis? It could be 2-legged, it could be 4-legged, it could be 8-legged. We don't know. 8-legged, 100-legged centipedes, you never know. It is insects, animals, what kind of birth, we don't know. Now, when we are saying all this, it sounds like punishment. No, it sounds very harsh, isn't it? Sattva gun hai to acha birth milega. Rajo gun, madhye tishtanti. It sounds like a punishment, but it is not a punishment. We all have to understand this also. This is not a punishment, but what it is a result of your deeds. It is a result of our deeds, what we are doing. So, getting the birth as a lower being, it is a matter of choice. It is not a punishment. Because I'm tamoguni, I'm getting punished as a lower. No, you allowed tamogun to increase in you, so it is a matter of choice. We cannot complain. People will say, na, ye mere hi bhagya mein likha tha. Why I'm destined for? No, it is your past karma. It is a matter of choice. How you react to it is going to be a matter of choice. So that is why be very, very, very watchful. Now, for one example, say a drunkard, nobody is telling him to go to there and drink. It is a matter of his choice. He is enjoying being in that tamogun. Nobody else is responsible for that. So, in the next janam, because of that tamasic behavior, if he lands up in some lower yoni, it is a matter of choice. So, be very watchful of what we are doing, what we are thinking. We are on the 18th shloka. From 5th shloka, this started description about all the 3 gunas till the 18th shloka. So much detail why Shri Krishna had to tell, because he has told already, you are tied. The soul is tied to the body because of these gunas. These gunas, they are not the soul. Soul is nirgun, nirakar. We know, isme koi gun nahi hai. It is pure. It has no gun. It is pure. But it is tied in this body because of what? These 3 gunas. Now, when you have a knot, when you are tied here, and we have knots tied, when you want to open that knot, what you have to do? You have to understand how that knot is tied. Then only you can open it. Then only you can untangle it. Then only we can untie it. That is so. We have to understand how these knots of these 3 gunas are. The gunas are characteristics of the Prakriti. We have seen the nature around us. It is a characteristics of that Prakriti. It is not our own characteristics. How the Prakriti has tied us, that we have to understand. And that is the reason this entire Vivechan from 5th till the 18th shloka has happened. And after that, what Shri Krishna has told, now you understand how the rope is. Now you understand how you are tied. Now I'll tell you how to go beyond this knot, how to go beyond these gunas. And from the 19th shloka, he starts explaining us about transcending the gunas. What is the meaning of transcending the gunas? Going beyond them, thinking beyond the gunas. How to go beyond the gunas? How these three gunas Shri Krishna is telling. Nanyang gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. So here Shri Krishna is telling who is a liberated soul. Nanyang gunebhyah kartaram. Who is a liberated soul? Shri Krishna is telling. We all want to go beyond that. So we all want to untie the knot, isn't it? We all want to go, we all want to get free from this entire chakra of life and birth. And for that, Shri Krishna is telling you, you have to be liberated. And how is this liberated soul? This liberated soul is the one who is not entangled in the guna. Na anya gunebhya kartaram. He is not entangled means what? He doesn't see himself as a doer. He understands who is the doer, kartaram. Who is the doer? The guna. The three gunas are the kartaram. So when somebody is very, 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 very angry, you have to understand he is under the influence of the rajogun, tamogun. Rajogun, why? Because kama leads to krodha. So that rajogun has triggered, and tamogun mein jaake he has that anger has reached to a certain level where he is going and breaking somebody's head. We have to understand the doer is who? The three gunas. Somebody who is very religiously studying, we have to understand that sattva gun is the one who is the doer. We have to understand that. And yada drashtanupashyati, the one who is able to see this, see that the doer is not the person, is not the dehi, not the person, not that body, but who? The three gunas are doing it. When that is understood, then he will be able to go beyond the gunas. Gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. And what will happen to this? Madbhavam sodhigacchati. They will be liberated. They will be united with the Parampita Paramatma. Gunani danati tyatrin dehi deha samudbhavam janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimuktomritamashnate. Gunane tanati tyatrin dehi deha samudbhavan. How is this body originating? Dehi deha samudbhavan. It is come into existence because of the influence of three gunas. Our very purpose of existence, not the purpose, our very cause of existence is the three gunas. Because of these three gunas, we all have evolved. Now the body was born because of the three gunas, but one who can distance himself from these three gunas, okay, that person will be liberated. So he has to understand, and he will be liberated from what? From janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimuktom mritamashnute. He'll understand because the cause of my birth itself is the three gunas. Janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimuktom mritamashnute. He will understand that all these sorrows he will be able to see from a third person. Suppose a theft is happening in your neighbor's house, how much it is going to affect you? Unke yahan pe chori hui hai na, we are at least safe. How that indifference comes, isn't it? That kind of indifference will be developed towards all the actions, all our experiences from our birth till the old age. That is the way of, that is how a gunatita means a person who is beyond all these three gunas will be thinking. One who realizes that the self is that his own self or her own self is totally detached from all these three modes, all these three gunas, that kind of person will attain the immortality. Now Shri Krishna told all this, but Arjuna he has always got questions, understanding everything in deep, and Arjuna's question throughout Bhagavad Gita help us understand all these principles with greater depth. So here Arjuna is posting question. Arjuna uvacha kailingai strin gunane tanatito bhavati prabho kimachara kathaichaitam strin gunanati vartate. Now we all know, understood everything. What is it? The whatever are the symptoms you have told there has to be a detachment, everything. Arjun is asking, what are the characteristics? If a person is standing in front of me, how do I understand? Is he a gunatit? Am I a gunatit? What are the characteristics? Ker lingai strin gunanitan. What are the characteristics of a gunatit, a person, of somebody who has crossed all these three gunas, who is beyond all these three gunas? What are the characteristics of such a person? Atito bhavati prabho kimachara. How is his behavior? Kat kimachara kathai chaitans. How is his conduct? How is his behavior? Chaitans trin guna nati vartate. And how kathai chaitans trin guna nati vartate. Arjuna was a very intelligent fellow. He understood this is for not for just introspection in others. Repeatedly, people keep saying, our senior Vivechaks have always been telling their Vivechas, this is a chapter for self-introspection. Arjuna is telling the same. How, by what means can I transcend these three gunas? We all also have to pose this question to ourselves. What are the characteristics? We have to understand. What is the behavior? We have to understand. And how can we go beyond these three gunas? That Arjuna wants to understand, and by his means we all are going to try to understand. So in response to this question, Krishna replies, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakashaincha pravrittincha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. What is happening? Prakashaincha pravrittincha. Prakasha means we know illumination, but not just physical illumination, purity of senses, purity of mind, enlightenment a person has, and pravritti, desire to do something. So a desire to do something, desire to act, all these things, and moha. These three, you can understand, these all three are one characteristics of each of the gunas. Prakash, sattva guna, pravritti, rajo guna, and moha is from tamo guna. So what he is saying, all these three are there. A person who, these are the fruits basically of all these three gunas, isn't it? Now, a person who's seeing this, he's seeing, observing this, that this is happening within him, and he doesn't hate it. Na dveshti sampravrittani means he is not hating these three gunas. And not only he's not dveshti sampravrittani, we have to live with these three gunas now. What is, we cannot hate it. We know we have to live. We are tied now. Iske saath jeena hai to we better like it, but we should know how to control it. So he doesn't hate it, and in the absence of this, he doesn't miss it. Oh, movies, I'm not missing it. The desire is there, he will control it. But if that desire is not there, he will not miss it. We have to learn to introspect. Then udasina vadasino gunairyo na vichalyate gunavartanta ityeva yovatishtati nengate. Very beautiful and a very important shloka. Udasina vadasino. What is the meaning of this word? A state of indifference towards what is happening. What is like udasina vadasina? Udasina vat asina. Udasina vat asina means what? Suppose you're in a building, balcony. From the balcony, you will see what is happening. Oh, Chelewala is selling vegetables. Somebody is going on the cycle. They fell down from the cycle. How you're observing from the top? No, with a state of indifference, isn't it? Does it matter to you what is happening down? No, but you're just watching like a witness. You're just watching. You are not participating in it. Oh, udasina vat asina, like that you are sitting and upar baithe hue, like nicely from the building. We are observing what is happening below us from the balcony, like that. With that indifference, we watch our own selves. And Gunairyo na vichalyate. It's not moved by these gunas. Understanding, no, I'm under the influence of sattva gun now. Now I'm under the influence of rajogun. Okay. That is the importance. So being indifferent and not being moved, because it is difficult to be indifferent also, because now when you're in the balcony, everything is happening outside you. You can be indifferent. Now it is happening within us. So we have to be indifferent also, and we have to not be moved by it. Gunairyo na vichalyate. We should not be moved by all these things. By mood means what? Don't feel sad. Oh, I'm having this strong desire to eat a gulab jamun. Isko control karo. How you deal with it is a different thing, but you should not hate this feeling, not love this feeling, not miss this feeling. So do not get perturbed, and na ingate, does not get perturbed or distracted. So a person, for this shloka, we have to understand it a little bit. For example, a person who is traveling by train, he'll say, I'm sitting in a train, I'm traveling. Suppose I'm going from Nagpur to Hyderabad, I'm traveling in a train. And what is happening? I don't know. I'm just sitting at one place and observing what is happening. The engine is going, the trees are there only, but my train is passing. I'm thinking it is observing what is happening. But am I actually putting the coal in that engine and making the engine drive? No. I'm seeing how the train is moving on its own. We are just sitting and experiencing this journey, and we are not letting it enter, not letting it affect us. It is stopping at one particular station. We are not getting affected by that, by the stoppages. At the time, if you want tea, coffee there, you will drink, and unfazed you'll sit and experience happily that journey. Okay, that is how our life is. We are not the doers. We have to have that state of indifference towards whatever is going to happen. And further, he explains the characteristics of gunatit. Gunatit means a person who is beyond the gunas. Sama dukkha sukha svastha samaloštashma kanchanaha tulya priya priyo dhirastulya nindatma samstutihi. How it is here, one word is important. Swastha. Swastha means one who is self-contained. Swayam mein sthit jo hai, that person is swastha. Okay, so it doesn't mean being in good health. हम लोग पूछते हैं आपका स्वास्थ्य कैसा है, स्वस्थ तो है ना? Not that one. Swastha means self-contained, being aware of our own self. Self-contained, what I mean is, you don't forget your own identity. You are always connected to that self-contained. Sama dukkha sukha swasthas. In happiness and in sadness, the attitude is same. First in the class, happily dancing, a little less marks, 90% ka 89 ho gaya. Sad. Nowadays, so it has become too much. Little bad result, jumping from the balcony, that depression, all that should not happen. Sama dukkha sukha swasthas, being happy or being same, having the same attitude in all circumstances, in all state of happiness and sadness. Samaloštashma kanchana, very important phrase. What is the meaning? This is, we all should understand. Samaloštashma kanchana. Loshta means mitti, mud. Ashma is stone, and kanchana is gold. Now, seeing all these three as same. So the meaning of this, it doesn't mean that somebody is having gold in the locker, you will see it is like mitti, throw it away. No, that samatha is not in behavior. We have to understand this, but it is in the perspective. So when a person is, it will be like, there in Marathi there is a saying also, like from mud we can mitti se sona ugayenge, means we'll work hard. We'll work hard to attain the goal, but we will consider it both as same. The importance wise it will be same. So we will not spend our entire lives, we will not spoil our lives for the demand of gold, for the demands of anything. From a perspective, these all are going to be same, but behavior wise there has to be, obviously there will be, so that vyavharik, that practical understanding is going to be there. Practically, there is going to be a difference in the value of these three, but when we are seeing anything from the perspective, it is going to be similar. And tulya priya priyo dhiras tulya nindatma samstati. In both priya and apriya. Priya is happy things and sad things. In both things remaining same. Tulya nindatma samstati. Now here also that we are lacking time, but if you all don't mind, I'll take a little bit more time of yours. And one small thing about how great people are. You know, in place where whether it is ninda or stuti, in both, when somebody praises us, aha, मेरी तारीफ कर दी, we are so happy. One small thing they'll say, आज की दाल में ना नमक कम हुआ, you will let them insult, it will become for people. No, that is wrong. Little ninda also people will not be able to take. That is not correct. So that is not a lakshana of gunatita. Gunatita will be same in both the cases. But when I'm saying tulya nindatma samstutihi, we have to also understand there is something called swabhiman and there is something called abhiman. Okay, if somebody is affecting your swabhiman, we have to deal with it. But if it is your ahankar, abhiman that is being hurt, you should not, get affected with it. For that, one small story about Swami Vivekananda. When he was traveling in a train, some people started commenting, what kind of dress is he wearing? What kind of his language is? He doesn't know English. All those things people were saying, he didn't react to it. But the same group of people in English, they started saying that, their country is like that. When the thing came on the country, he immediately got up, replied them in their own language. And then they feel, oh, he understands English. He is so learned. He said, no, till you were insulting me, it was a different thing. Because it is not my, I don't have, I have to be same. It doesn't matter to me because I cannot get insulted. But nobody can say anything to my country. Nobody can say anything to my language. That kind of swabhiman, we should have that pride for our country, for our culture, everything. For that, we should not compromise. So when I'm saying ninda stuti, there should be a balance that it should not be for it is only when it is affecting us, apna swabhiman, country swabhiman, we have to protect all the time. And then further, Shri Krishna says, mana pamanayos tulyas tulyo mitrari pakshayoho sarvarambha parityagi gunatita sa uchyate. These three shlokas that we saw, all the lakshana of gunatita are very beautifully explained. Mana apamanayos tulyas, whether in the state of man and apman, it is going to be same. Tulya mitrari pakshayoho, very important. The behavior towards a friend. Now see, the difference between a friend and enemy is always going to be there. Ripu is the enemy and Mitra is friend. The difference in the attitude. So all secrets that I tell my friends, I'm not going to go and tell my enemy. So that is going to be different. But the treatment that is given is going to be the same for both. If my friend is thirsty, I'll give water. If my enemy is also thirsty, then also we'll give water. What had happened after Ravan was killed in the war? Ram told Vibhishan, Sri Ramji told Vibhishan that inka antim sanskar kariye, do the last rites for him. And he said, I don't consider him my brother. I will not do the antim sanskar like a king. He has done all this. So he said, okay, if not as your brother, you do it as if he's my brother. So see that feeling that he has towards his own enemy. The enmity which was there, it was over after the body has gone. The enmity was restricted to the deha, to the body. Okay, beyond that, the soul is the same. The soul is same. Everything should be same with the same loving feeling. Tulyo mitra ripakshayoho. Sarvarambha parityagi. Whatever work we are doing, we have to understand that who is the doer? Me, I am not the doer. We'll start all the fruits. We are giving it to whom? Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. We have been taught right from the beginning. And gunati tassa uchyate. All these things that whoever has is a gunati. Next shlok, very interesting. Maincha yo vyabhacharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityayitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. A person, mind cha yogya vicharena, very important shloka. This summarizes how our life should be. In everything, a person who sees Lord, perceives Lord or Bhagwan in everything around him, imparts love to everything around him, is the person who is flown himself in bhakti yoga. This particular sentence, this yovya bicharena, yovya bicharena, what is the meaning of this avicharedi bhakti? This is very important. Seeing God in everything. When I'm saying seeing God in everything, for instance, if there is ghee we all know, if it is heated, it will become liquid. If it is cold, it will remain solid, isn't it? But in both the forms, it is still ghee only. It is only. So whether you are praying to the Nirgun, Nirakar, Parampita, Paramatma, or to the Sagun idols, it is the same. It is the same Lord. So in everything, you should have the capacity of seeing Lord. That is one thing. One small story, when Swami Vivekananda's Shishya, he asked, what is the meaning of this bhakti you are saying? Vivekananda said, I can explain you this. He said, I've read so many scriptures, but I'm not understanding this bhakti. He said, I will explain you within a minute. At that time, Vivekananda ji was taking a bath in Ganga River near Calcutta, and this person came there. I want to know what is Avibhicharini Bhakti. Tell me. He said, within a minute I'll tell you. He said, come closer. And Vivekananda ji was a very strong man. Who held him with his neck and put him in water. That neck, he put it in water, and he held. For some time, those bubble bud was coming. Slowly that bud became little less, and then when that thing settled down, he left the neck and this shishya came up. So Vivekananda ji asked, when you were inside that water, what was the feeling? What did you want at that point of time? Did you want wealth? Did you want a better wife, a good wife? Did you want more knowledge? What is it that you wanted at that point of time? Only some 50 cc of air. How desperately I wanted that air. The only thing that I wanted at that point of time was little bit of air to survive. And when that desire you have, when you pray for Lord, that's the only thing that I want is Lord. The only thing I want is the moksha. When we do the bhakti with that emotion, that is this mind chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. That is that emotion. So that is the feeling you all should have. And sagunan samati tyaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So somebody who serves me with this unswearing devotion, that kind of person is what has crossed all these gunas and has fit to become what? Brahma is fit to be united with me. Then that is what we call moksha. So we have heard this word, unconditional love. There should be unconditional love for God. Not मैं पेड़ा देता हूँ, मुझे marks दे दो. That is not bhakti. To every day doing puja, give me more wealth, keep my children safe. No, unconditional love towards God is what is desired. Brahmano hi pratishthaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya cha. So with a gunatita person, what he attains ultimately, Brahmano hi pratishthaham amritasya vyayasya cha. We are already, see, people ask for amrit, they want to live forever. We are already having amrit, isn't it? The soul never dies. We are already always going to be there. Amritasya and avyaya. No, this cannot be spent. It's always going to be there. And shashvatasya cha dharmasya. Shashvat dharma ka palan karna hai. What is the shashvat dharma? Entire Bhagavad Gita, whatever whatever we are learning, it was told how many years back? More than 5,200 years back. But every word of it is still valid. That is Shashvat Dharma. Following that Niti, that is Shashvat Dharma. Sukhasya kanti kasya cha. That sukhasya kanti, ek hi jo cheez hai, ekant sukh. What is it? That ultimate happiness. How you will get all that ultimate happiness is where? Brahmano hi pratishtham. It is in that one Brahman. And how we reach that Brahman, we have seen in the 26th shlok with that bilkul unconditional bhakti towards God. So this ultimate moksha you will get with that bhakti and with the detachment towards all these gunas. So this is how Shri Krishna has explained and given us inputs of how we can liberate ourselves. He has told how we are bound to this world, and he has given us the way how we can liberate ourselves also. So on that note, one small thing that Shri Ramakrishna Paramhans has said, like how you should be, that we flow like a river. On that there is a boat. Okay, how is that boat? If the water enters that boat, the boat will sink. But if it allows itself to just flow, we have to flow with the dedication, with the devotion. If we are flowing, if we live in the world with that sense of detachment, don't let it come inside. Don't let the water come inside your life in your boat. Then we will be able to get liberated from this entire circle of life and death. And with that thought, we whatever we have learned, whatever we are going to learn in future, you are all in level 2 or further, whatever you will be learning, whatever you are doing, we will all offer it to Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. I offer this entire Vivechan in the feet of Lord Krishna. And on that note, we'll finish this Vivechan Satra. Om Tat Sadite Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Chaturdashodhyayaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. If anybody has any questions, I will try to answer them with whatever little knowledge I have.
Thank you so much, Didi, for this beautiful session. Before we move on towards our question and answer part, I just want to inform and let you all know about something which is very divine. Who doesn't like giving and taking gifts? But what should we gift is the most difficult thing to decide. Okay, why not gift people the life? I am overjoyed to inform you all about the brilliant initiative taken by Geeta Parivar with the immense hard work of IT team, which is gift.learngeeta.com. This portal will help you send an auspicious gift of Geeta learning to your special ones by level 1 registration in Geeta Parivar. I hope all of you will take a complete use of this portal and gift something very immortal and very required to your special ones. Yes, moving on towards our question and answer session. Whoever has the questions, please raise your hands so that we can.
गिफ्ट एक गीता क्लास अपनों को दे एक अनमोल उपहार। श्रेष्ठ उपहार कामकाजी महिलाओं के लिए, गृहिणियों के लिए, विद्यार्थियों के लिए, IT प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए, आपके बच्चों के लिए, आपके पेरेंट्स के लिए, डॉक्टर्स के लिए, टीचर्स के लिए। गीता क्लास एक अनमोल उपहार उन सभी अपनों के लिए जिनके जीवन को आप सुखमय बनाना चाहते हैं। आज ही गिफ्ट डॉट लर्न gita.com में लॉगिन कर इस श्रेष्ठ उपहार से अपनों के जीवन को और अधिक आनंदमय बनाएं।
जय श्री कृष्ण। गीता क्लास गिफ्ट करने के लिए आपको gift.learngita.com में लॉगिन करना होगा। लॉगिन करते ही आपको ये होम स्क्रीन दिखाई देगी। एंटर योर PRN में अपना PRN नंबर डालकर प्रोसीड बटन पर क्लिक कीजिए। अगले पेज पर आपको रेसिपिएंट यानी जिन्हें आप गीता क्लास गिफ्ट करना चाहते हैं उनका नाम और व्हाट्सएप नंबर डालकर सेंड गिफ्ट बटन पर क्लिक कीजिए। आप व्हाट्सएप, फेसबुक, ट्विटर इत्यादि सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म से भी गीता क्लास गिफ्ट कर सकते हैं। जैसे ही आप सेंड गिफ्ट बटन पर क्लिक करेंगे, रेसिपिएंट को एक SMS में लिंक मिलेगा जिसमें आपकी रेफरल ID भी होगी। इस लिंक के द्वारा वो लॉगिन करके गीता क्लास ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं। जय श्री कृष्ण। जिन्हें भी आपने गीता क्लास गिफ्ट की है, यदि वो आपके रेफरल लिंक से ज्वाइन करते हैं तो आपके अकाउंट में उनका नाम शो होगा और साथ ही लर्न गीता के गिफ्ट पोर्टल में टॉप 20 सेवी जिन्होंने सबसे ज़्यादा रेफ़र किए हैं उनके नाम लीडर बोर्ड में इस तरीके से दिखाई देंगे रेफरल काउंट के साथ। जय श्री कृष्ण।
A beautiful initiative taken by Geeta Parivar. Yes. Moving on further to our question and answer sessions. Those who have questions, please turn on your videos and raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Yes, Chandra ji.
I have a lot of questions. Madam talked about three gunas, right? How can one be without a desire? Desire itself is bhakti, no? To want to be with Krishna itself is a desire. How can you be detached with a desire?
See,
Number
that
one.
is not there. Okay.
There are many other questions.
Please continue.
If you tell me one by one, should I ask you or
You
I
tell
should
all
wait
your
for your
questions. See, one
Okay.
thing, maybe, telling about this particular, this wanting Shri Krishna is not desire. It is the ultimate goal of life, Didi. So basically, we'll have some goal. Desire is what Krishna मुझे थोड़े से अच्छा जॉब दे दे, कृष्णा मुझे और अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटीज दे दे, may he give me more opportunities, may he give me more money. That is desire. But wanting to be with Shri Krishna is not desire. It is the ultimate goal of life. Something, we are in this world for something, right? That ultimate goal of life is uniting with Shri Krishna, and that is not desire. It is the goal of life.
Okay. Can I ask the second question?
Yes,
Can you
please.
please answer me in English? More, I'll
Yes,
understand
sorry.
better in English.
Sorry, I'm really very sorry.
No, it's okay. I understood what you said. But the second
I
question
will
is,
stick
you
to
are
English,
saying,
ma'am. Sorry.
thank you, thank you.
Mm.
The second question is, you are saying we should be without any attachment to whatever is happening. Suppose somebody is raped. There is a series of questions in that. Just I want to know.
Yeah.
Because my son-in-law, my daughter, they don't believe in God. But I firmly believe in God. So I want them to understand this is a question they asked me for which I don't have an answer. So I'm asking you. If you have an answer, please let me know. The thing is, if something happens, like a rape is happening, how can we be detached to it and watch it? We can neither watch it, nor we can be detached in that sense. We'll be questioning the person. Really, when Nirbhaya case happened, I was saying all the person should be shot dead. That was my angry. Because they did it very badly to her. No, what suffering that girl might have happened. Went through. So I felt very bad. So I said, those fellows must be cut their genitals off and let go so that they'll have their pride cut. And my son-in-law was asking me, don't you believe in karma? Yes, I said yes. Then he said, if that is the karma, if that is what she has been destined to, then why are you bothered about the rapist? So where comes the question of punishment for those people who do a wrong thing? And how can we be looking at it without any attachment? That is my question. Maybe it is their karma to be born in such a place and get they are affected by all these things. But by getting angry or not affected by it, does it mean that we are following Krishna's dharma or?
No. Now see, by not having attachment, I never said not reacting to it in a sensitive way. It is very sensitive. We have to be sensitive towards what is happening in society. Detachment doesn't mean you sit with no sensitivity in you, isn't it? So being sensitive is one thing. And what can we do to stop this? Now, this is happening in some other cities. What can we do to, we see if it is happening in front of us, definitely we have to do something about it. That is our job. If we stay quiet, our karma is also getting spoiled. What we can do to improve the society, that we should focus on. What should be our focus? That this thing doesn't happen. Such mentality only goes from, we have to educate our youth, and in that we have to do certain things that will encourage our youth to be on the right path. Our youth is, see, there are some very consciously, there are conspiracies going on to detach ourselves from our culture. If these people, how our culture is in Sanskrit, how we call everybody Bhagini, sister, isn't it? Bhrata, Bhagini, how we call in Geeta Parivar, we call everybody Didi, Bhaiya. That one word will change the entire perspective we have towards ladies, isn't it? That one word will change that culture we have to propagate among everybody around us. That is what is in our hands. Knowing that our society is going towards that deterioration, if we are just sitting and seeing only news channel and just reacting to the news, it is not going to help. We have to take action. Whatever is in your realm of control, we have to do. Punishing anybody might not, I'm not a judge, I cannot go and punish, but whoever youth is coming, I have to ensure that everybody around me is getting connected to our culture. That would be something that we have to keep our focus on. Whatever is in our control, isn't it? That we have to focus on.
Thank you, Didi, for this nice answer. But I get very angry hearing such news, and I feel
Everybody
like really
gets
punishing them all together, whether politicians or neighbors or anything I hear, I feel very angry. I'm not able to control myself. I blurt out saying, I want to kill them, all kinds of words. My daughters and son-in-law says, why are you getting so perturbed? I'm not able to stay quiet. How do I stay quiet?
We all are we have to be very sensitive towards these issues, and we have to ensure that people around us don't fall prey to such things, to such thoughts. They should be on a good path. And in our capacity, if as one person, if you are able to change even 4 people, those 4 will go and change another 8 people. Those 8 will go and change. It is a cascading effect that it has. We have seen how Geeta Parivar started with 2,000 people. We are 3 lakh plus now, 3.5 lakh plus. It has a cascading effect. That effect we have to bring everybody. We have to connect them to our culture. That we have to do together. We have
Thank
to
you,
fight
Didi.
it out.
One more question, final question. I don't want to hold you long. We say, will we remember in our later births about our karmas or whatever has been done in this birth? Like if so, there are many poor children. My daughter runs an NGO in Chennai. She does it for the very low class people's children, education. She does it. But is the karma theory applicable to them? Because the children, they are nowhere responsible for what they are. But still we try to help them. But being born like that is their problem. How Krishna is going to help, I don't know.
No. Being born like that is not, it is their problem. It might be because of the past karma that they are born like that, but some good deeds they have done, that they have lined it up with your daughter who is helping them out. See, getting problems in life is not a problem. how much help, divine help we are getting, how we are able to pull ourselves out of it, how we are reacting to the problems, that is in our hands. See,
My question is, how don't we interfere with the handwriting that
no,
they have to
no,
suffer?
we are not only, see, it was their destiny to come, and that's what I'm saying. It was their destiny to get attached with your daughter, and she has improved her karma by helping such people. Forget about, we are not going to let people suffer. That is not our job. Our job as human beings, we don't have to be that madhya tishtanti, right? We have to be urdhvam gachanti. For that, we have to be sattvic. We have to, that our whatever rajogun we have, that should be combined with the sattvic thoughts, and we should do good actions. For that, good actions is the important part. By saying detachment and everything, it doesn't mean sit at whatever place you are, do Krishna. No, do good actions. Then only your birth is going to be better. Then only your entire soul is going to get higher places.
Will we remember all these things in our coming births too?
It is no. See, this is a very interesting question. We will forget everything. Forgetting is very important, I feel. Now you never know. We have our own chill. पता नहीं पिछले जन्म की दुश्मनी बच्चे बन के पैदा होगी. So if we have the memories of the old birth, maybe the old birth, whatever bad deeds must have happened. See, if the same person is coming and I remember what has happened in the old birth, will I be able to focus? Will I be able to love the person with that same thing? No, I don't remember anything from the past. Is actually a blessing for us. Why? Because we are people with very limited, very average intellect. So if we remember our past, we are all bound to probably just spoil our karmas. This is a blessing. What we did, it is good. So focus on good deeds. Focus on what good we can do. What I did in the past should not even matter to us at this point of time, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Didi, for your patience and your answers. God bless.
Thank you
Jai Shri
for the
Krishna.
interesting questions. I hope I could do justice to them. Ji, Dattatreya ji has raised his hand. I think it's a prayer. Okay. So no further questions. So thank you everybody for the patient listening. I wish you all a very happy Geeta-maya journey. Yeah, over to you, Arya Didi.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes. With this ending, I would like to call upon for the ending prayer Dattatreya ji from Navi Mumbai, who is serving at technical end in level 2 and is associated with Geeta Parivar since October 2021. Over to you, Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna to all. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Rajapriyam Dharma Sanstapakam Viram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya. Enlightening our souls with the meaning of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā and to help us solve our dilemma. Thank you, Geeta Parivar, for this splendid platform. I would also like to extend my thanks to all the supporting system of Geeta Parivar, the volunteers who are working at the back end of this stage to make this session run smoothly. Also, a big thanks to our speaker, honorable speaker. Thank you so much for enlightening us. And yes, a warm thanks to all the listeners to be patient and enthusiastic till the end of this session. Hope to be connected with all of you. Thank you.